My wife suggested polyamory. So now I'm preparing for the worst possible outcome.
3 people. Maybe 4 people. Maybe 5 people. Who knows? That's the worst, I guess. I don't know. We'll find out.
I, 30 male, and my wife, 30 female, have been in a wonderful relationship for the past 11 years. We are college sweethearts and have been through so much together, from living in multiple cities to eloping and dealing with our pissed off friends and families together, to seeing each other through the passing of loved ones, to getting our first and second cats together. We lived our second childhoods together, as we like to call it, and have had the most loving relationship I could ever ask for. By the way, this comes from user aggravating bid 8944 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Well, earlier this year, that all came crashing down for me. This year, my wife came out to me as polyamorous and told me that it was just something that she was learning about herself. I felt taken aback by it and felt all sorts of insecurities. Am I not enough? Is this relationship a joke to you? Why do you need to F other people? Of course, I didn't say any of these things to her, but instead I tried to remain calm and discuss the topic with her. She told me that it wasn't something she necessarily had the energy to pursue, but it was a side of her she was interested in exploring eventually. That gave me some relief because at least I felt like I had time to process everything with her and learn more about polyamory and maybe challenge myself to see if I just learned more that I would be okay with it.
I don't think any of your relationship was a joke. You guys have been together for 11 years and done a lot of things. I don't think she's like, oh, I had that in the back of my mind and I'll throw up at him like it's random. It's like, oh, maybe.
I can understand that from the perspective of someone who's just like really been in traditional relationships and has only ever been exposed to that. Somebody that you've been dating. Yeah. And then like all of a sudden, 11 years later, it's like, polyamory. Yeah, I want to do that. It'd be like, whoa, what's wrong with me? Like that's very natural. I can see
like right off the bat, but like he was like, if you put it into retrospect, 11 years in all the things that you guys been through, I don't think it's a joke.
It's no joke.
I don't think
he thinks it's a joke either.
No.
After she told me, we were talking about polyamory and what that might look like for us every now and then on date nights. I was always uncomfortable talking about it because in truth, I just want her. I don't want to think about other partners every time I think about her. I want her and only her. Why can't I be enough? If she is truly polyamorous and wants to be with other people, doesn't that imply that I was never enough? Anyways, I entertained the idea because she's always been bi. And there was always a part of me that felt guilty for trapping her, quote unquote, in a hetero relationship. See, I was her first and only, and sometimes I wonder if part of her feels like her queerness never really got to be expressed because of that. So maybe this could work. And hey, it's not like it's realistic to expect that either of us would never feel attraction of any kind to someone else. It's just about whether it's acted upon or not. The months pass and we both learn more about polyamory and what that could look like. We like the idea of a mono/poly hierarchical relationship. And I stupidly think, yeah, our love is so strong, I'll definitely learn to want this. I'll be the primary partner and I'll always come first. I believe her when she says that because she's only ever been 100% there for me through thick and thin. But inside, I'm worried because if she finds another, won't she stop being there for me 100%? I tell her my fears and she comforts me, telling me that I'm the love of her life and that she's not going anywhere. But then again, if she wants to see other people, isn't she going somewhere? This guy's
so wishy-washy.
This guy's doing the ship of Theseus argument.
Yeah, it's so wishy-washy here. You're like, I'm like if statement A is going to be statement B, then statement A will be statement B. It's like, don't try and like read into it that much, man. It hasn't even started.
I love her so much and I want to believe her, but I find myself dying inside whenever consensual non-monogamy or polyamory is brought up. I started reading all of the propaganda out there by people in polyamorous relationships. Oh, it's so ethical. Monogamists don't even know how to communicate. Most one-on-one marriages fail because we're not evolved for that. We have so much love to give. I start telling myself all those sweet nothings and denying myself the right to want monogamy. And the thing is, I believe my wife when she tells me that she would prioritize me. The effing problem is that I don't want that. I don't want someone to just come by and take her away from me ever. I don't want somebody to call themselves her partner because I want to be the only one. I've given her all of myself, and she's always given all of herself to me. And I'm here making myself feel selfish for not wanting to share. F me. You need to tell her this.
Yeah, stop. Yeah, the fact that you're like, I support it, and then you're like, I don't like any of this.
You need to. I made a mistake just like this. If you ever get in a situation where you're trying to do poly or something and y'all aren't on the same page, y'all need to address it immediately.
Yeah, because if this is what's eating at you right now, and again, it hasn't even started, imagine where she's like, I'm going to go on a date and I'm going to go do this. Your brain is going to turn to like a...
You're going to be the most miserable person on earth. This all came to a head one day when she finally came to me with what I didn't want to hear. She developed feelings for someone else and wanted to tell me about it for transparency. She's always been honest and transparent with me, but man, did this one hit me like a effing truck. She assured me that she hasn't acted on it, the person doesn't know, and she doesn't have to take it any further than I am comfortable. But I get a panic attack and start having visions of her leaving me. We talk a lot, and she spends a lot of time comforting me, and we agree to see a poly-friendly therapist who can guide us through what we're going through. Bro, you just don't sound poly-compatible.
No, you sound like it's the idea of poly is just not in your vocabulary and on the picture, and that's okay.
Literally fine.
But you need to let your partner know that, and you got to see what you guys can compromise or at least work on before it, again, gets to worse than what it is.
And there are potential solutions around this that don't involve poly. Anyway, let's continue. We go to see the therapist, and she points out that we have a wonderful relationship, but our communication had broken down. Just like we said.
Wow, it's like we know what we're talking about.
My wife had agreed that we wouldn't do anything with polyamory this year, and while she hasn't acted on anything, telling me was basically asking me to move things forward. I eventually break down and confess that I don't want any of this and that I hadn't been allowing myself to be okay with wanting the beautiful relationship we already have. It's a tough conversation that the therapist guides us through, and eventually we decide to put a formal pause to polyamory talks. My life had been suffering because of a lot of losses simultaneously. My best friend decided to stop being friends with me because she was jealous of my wife. My workplace laid off my best friends and left only me behind, and my grandmother passed away. I haven't been sleeping well, and I've been gaining weight. I just need my life to be stable for a bit. We all eventually agree that it's best that we just take a few months to work on our communication and to help me move on from a lot of the loss I have been experiencing. She promises that we can go as slow as we need to and that I can have more time if I want. She won't act on any feelings and promises to treat the topic as delicately and sparsely as she can. But she also admits that being poly is something she needs, and she has so much love to give. We'll be monogamous for a few more months while I get my crap together, I guess. The thing is, she's always been wonderful to me, and we have such a beautiful life together. I don't want anyone else but her. And I want her all to myself. I can have her for a few more months, and I'm afraid that when those months pass and it's time to revisit this conversation, I'll be changed and learn to be okay with this. I'll be okay and watch the world we built together slowly fade, watch her walk away from me as I stop being the only one in her life. The thing is, I already stopped being that to her the moment she figured out she was poly. My relationship with her as I know it has already ended, and I'm staring down our final months as a monogamous couple. I'm trying to hold myself together and be a better husband and partner anyway. If I'm going to be let down in the end, I might as well have the best effing last months with her as I know it. This could all work out, or it couldn't. Either way, my marriage as I know it is essentially over. There's something else there now in its place. I never wanted this, but it's what I get. Part of me prays that if I ever entertain this poly crap a few months from now, that she starts dating and realizes that dating effing sucks. And never mind, I'm not poly, I was just being silly. But that's just a fantasy. I got a few months left with her. Then us as we know it is done. We'll be something else. Maybe it can be better, but I get this nagging feeling that I'll have to learn to let her go already. She has so much love to give, and one day I won't be the only one, and maybe it'll be over. You know what this is reading like?
This guy's very,
This is reading like you're doing a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what this is reading
I don't like any of it.
And by the way, if you decide already in your head that 3 months from now, your relationship is going to be over and like it'll never be anything like how it was before, if you tell yourself that the entire time leading up to it, that's exactly what's going to happen. And it's going to be mostly your fault because you've completely rooted yourself into one possibility that you made in your head. And you are no longer open to any other possibilities in the context of this relationship.
It's very close-minded, and I know it's like you saw no like positives at this or like no support to your partner, to your wife. Just the way you're talking about it is so negative.
Well, when you think about it, it does make sense that he feels negatively. It's been 11 years and he feels like he's staring down the end. But at the same time, if that's how you really feel already, then you might as well just leave. Because you're going to end up leaving in 3 months and you're just tormenting yourself. Or if you want to, put your boots on and do the hard work, be open to the possibility of this working and the possibility that it also might really hurt when it doesn't.
Yeah.
But you're kind of trying to already build up this thing where it's like it's guaranteed to fail, probably to protect yourself. But you're only doing your relationship of 11 years a disservice. I'm broken, but I know this isn't necessarily the end. Oh, and we have an update. Let's get into it right now. Thank you for all the comments, advice, and kind words. After reading a lot of what you all had to say, I decided that at the very least, I should be honest with myself by being honest with her about what I want. I talked to her and reiterated that I only want to be with her and I don't want to see her with anyone else. And that any changes to our relationship dynamic has to be discussed and enthusiastically consented to and reaffirmed regularly. I asked her to confirm with me that we are monogamous right now, and she said yes, and she said that I am her life partner and the one she wants to be with. I apologized to her for not being clear earlier about my discomfort, and we decided to hit the reset button on all of this during the pause. I asked her to cut off ties with that person she has feelings for, and while she was saddened by this, she asked me to trust that she would do it and not bring that person up again.
See, she's respecting your wishes.
There you go.
She's respecting your boundaries, and she's concerned about you.
Look at what can happen when people have conversation.
She's reassuring that she wants you. She just wants to try something out that she, again, just hasn't realized because she hasn't done it.
She seems like she's just as confused as you are.
Yeah.
It's got to be a confusing thing to realize you're a poly 11 years into a relationship.
The partner is so so good. So I love the reaffirmation.
She told me that she wants to choose me even if it's painful right now, and she can't promise that she won't resent me over this, but would let me know if that happens. You are all right. Our relationship isn't poly in any form unless we're both in it 100%, because poly relationships require honest communication and consent, not unlike mono relationships. The point being, your relationship is what you both enthusiastically consent to, and anything less than complete and utter consent is unethical and harmful. We both had a hand in this and are working to be better to ourselves and to each other. To be clear, I left out in my original post that she told me that she would be okay with me seeing other people and would be happy for me. But I had told her repeatedly over the last few months that I don't like the idea of seeing anyone else because I have everything I could ever want and more with her. So, why would I look? I love her and I love our relationship. I want all the good and the bad, and growing together is what gives me the most satisfaction. And I don't care for new relationship energy. I want old relationship energy. I want to love her more every day. I want to deal with her crap because it's her and not anyone else. I want to make joyous memories together. It pained me every time that she implied or stated that dating other people is okay, and I had to specifically tell her to stop saying that I'm allowed to date others outside of our therapy sessions because it felt like coercion, and she apologized and agreed that she was overly excited and being inconsiderate. I told her multiple times, and I hope she sticks to her word. She also admitted to me that sometimes she mourns all she could have had, quote unquote. I asked her if that meant she would have wanted to swap the life we had for something else. She said no, and meant that she sometimes mourns a different life, like a curiosity. But I didn't quite buy that. She said that she loves the life we had together while simultaneously mourning what could have been. And that morning is only sometimes. Well, I mean, you're going to inevitably, at some point in an 11-year relationship, you're going to have thoughts of other things, or maybe you could call it doubt, whatever you want to call it.
It's the what if. What if I did this? What if I did that? What if we did this?
Mhm.
What if I did that?
It's just the forks in the road. It's a natural thing to ponder.
Everyone has the what if.
Yeah.
I will commend OP though, that he does genuinely love her and just wants her. It's beautiful. I will respect that. It's just, again, she does the same for you. She just wants to try something different.
I'm so glad that you talked about this.
Yeah.
I told her I never mourn the past because it's what makes me today, with all the good and the bad. I told her the life we've lived and continue to live together is the brightest light and strongest pillar in my life, and wishing for anything else feels dishonest and untrue to me. She agreed it was similar for her, but she still wonders anyway. And by the way, I want y'all to wander, not wonder, over to our stream when we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. All you got to do is tap our profile and you are in. One thing I really don't like here towards the end of that was the way that she described her morning, or her sort of her thoughts of what could have been or the past or whatever. And OP just being like, well, I feel like there's never a reason or an acceptable reason to do that in a relationship. And it's like, well, now that doesn't feel right.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like OP is stuck to one lane, and the partner, we never got a name, but his partner, it just wants to, like,
I don't know. It's
the fact that she is, again, bi, and she's never gotten really to explore that side. I can see where they're both coming from.
Yeah.
She's like,
yeah,
and
exactly.
even OP said it. Even OP said it himself. He's like, I trapped her into a mono relationship, and she never got to explore that. I kind of feel bad. Maybe she resents me. I don't think she resents you, because she loves you so much. It's just like, if I were that case,
you're gonna think about it.
Yeah, you're gonna think about it. You're like, oh, what if I did explore this side a little bit more, or like get a chance to explore this? I don't know. And I think that's what this Polly is. She's looking for, like, just like, I want to experience something that's different, or what if.
I know that while this isn't a time limit, it still feels like one. I don't know if or when she will come to resent me or our relationship because of a need to see what's out there, or I guess more kindly, explore love in others. An irony is that her sister was dumped by her ex because he, quote, wanted to see what's out there. And we laughed at this stupidity years ago. And I feel like that is happening in slow motion for me. That being said, I feel at a minimum that I got to put my foot down both for her and for myself. I'm preparing for the worst to come while hoping for the best. I still want us to work out because what we have is too precious to just toss away. Call me an idiot, but I'm willing to try. And if her need to love others supersedes her need for me, so be it. I'll be ready either way. The threat of the end doesn't have to mean daily despair. It can mean a reason to take every day with grace and gratitude, and that's how I'll choose to move forward. Thank you truly, everyone. I feel the love and support from all of you. Maybe in a few months, I'll let you know how it goes. And that's the end of that story.
I get it. OP is so conflicted. He's like, I want what's best for her. I want what's best for me. And it's just one of those things where you won't know until you let it happen.
I think something that could be good for OP would be individual therapy. I know you guys were doing like poly couple therapy. I think OP could do well with sort of figuring out where a lot of this fear. I feel like the main driver in your relationship right now is this fear
and insecurities
that you're going to lose her.
Yeah.
Therapy is a great way to get to the root of some of these, just like, some of these like core, like ways that we operate as people that we don't even really see because it's so like ingrained in us. It just becomes the way that we do it. It's hard for us to see from our own perspective what influences the way that we move through our life. And yeah, it feels like get to know yourself a little bit more, and maybe you'll be more comfortable expressing yourself to your wife.
And just the biggest key thing here, which it looks like you guys are doing, is communicating. Just communicating how you feel, communicating what it makes you feel, like all that, which is the the first thing, and you just keep doing that and get to professional, like, boom, 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 boom. We know what we want. We know what we don't want.
Absolutely. And that is the end of that story.